On this model, the directions are ecocentric in that you're born in the east where the sun rises.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you could think of that as the access point to spirit. Sunrise, um, the birth of consciousness. But as you come around, if you're kind of following along in your head on the compass rose, if you go down into the south, that's where the sun is at its highest point. It's also the season of summer. And that's that point in our lives where we're playing a lot, exploring a lot. We shift a little bit over towards the west in our stage 3 time. And we start to discover that tension between being authentic and socially acceptable enough. And
Yeah, who
then,
am I really, right?
right, well, and
And
then
how do I fit in?
right. And if everything goes well, um, one huge thing should happen in that stage before you go towards the cocoon stage. Is the one that you're referring to? And I really want to make a point of this because it's not well understood, at least in our culture. In the Western culture, one of the things that we have to do in that stage 3, is an eco-centric awakening, where we transition from the anthropocentric worldview to the ecocentric worldview. Interestingly enough, healthy nature-based indigenous cultures do not have to have this awakening. It happens from birth. They already have it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
there's that point in that stage 3 where we have to wake up to an ecocentric perspective of the
So what does
world.
that look like?
Yeah. So basically, it's that, at least for me, it was that moment where, I had been an outdoor educator for a long time and I played outside a lot. And if you would have asked me if I was ecocentric then, I would have given you a pretty good answer, but I wasn't. It was the moment that came for me was when I was alone in the wilderness for a number of visitations, doing some self-exploratory practices. And it felt like it was something just broke open. And it was a deep sense of belonging.
Mm.
And not only belonging, but an honor to be an expression of this earth.
Wow.
And how that changes all of your morals and values in terms of what is morally right in the world is not just in service to humanity, me, my family, all these small rings of belonging that I have, but that it includes the community of earth beings that we share and that we are actually an expression of. And it changes the way you see the world.
Mm.
And it changes the way in which, it changed the way, at least for me, in the way I even go hiking, or the
Mm-hmm.
way I experience being outside, or the way in which I see everything has changed. And there's also an aspect of that where it becomes an animate world, where everything is alive,
Mm-hmm.
and not just objective um, um, dead matter.
Got it.
And
So
and the last thing I would say is that the hierarchy in there really is a level playing field. Like there's no one organism that's more superior than another. I remember I kept asking myself, what's more important, a human life or blue-green algae? And a lot of people will say a human life, but it's just a good reminder that the little things are just as important as the big things because we're all woven together.
yeah, that's fascinating. I love this idea of a process in which you reawake to your own wildness, to your own inherent connectedness, and that it's not so much that it wasn't there. It's more about your taking a new level of ownership over that. It's a new level of consciousness that's setting in for you around the actual interconnectedness that we are a part